I spent 2 months developing one IG appointment setting system, and now it books me a call every single day. You can check February details. We have one booked call yesterday, one booked call the day before. We didn't have here, but that doesn't really matter. Also, you can see January data and December data. And as you can see, I have been developing it, trying to make this system actually work. And now this system cooks. And I will walk you through everything. And if you implement this for yourself, you're going to make a fuck ton of money. I'm not kidding. You're going to make a fuck ton of money. It may be a little bit confusing at some places. So if I didn't explain something perfectly, ask back, DM me, book a call with me, and let's implement this for you. Just ask, okay? So let's go through the system. This part of the system explains what's happening. This part of the system explains the stages of each lead. And this part of the system are the follow-ups. So let's go through them. How the system works is we have the lead. Now, the lead generation is again something completely different. I'm not going to touch on that right now. But we go into the openers. How we are messaging people, how we are starting conversations is we send an opener message like, hey, yo, hello. Simple, like that. After that, when they respond, we are going to send them a Loom that's manually recorded for them, going over the systems, going over everything. And right here, I have spent the time to create the perfect Loom script. I get messages saying like, oh my God, Robert, finally someone who can explain what he wants to do with me. Let's book a call. Let's start working together, this, that, and the other. And so this is what's happening. I personally record for them a Loom, and after that, I send a Loom message, a very specific message that gets them to open the Loom. And I right now will show you all the data. In February, as you can see, I sent 7 Looms yesterday, 5 of them were already opened and watched. As you can see, this is the average on how much people watched it. 300%, one person watched 5%, they didn't want it, and one person watched 80%. Again, a good view rate. Another one, I sent 3 Looms, I had 3 Loom views, and I got 190, 100. So people are watching more on average than 85% of my Looms, which means my Looms are amazing. And it's 6 to 7 minute Looms. I will show you one example. This is one Loom I sent out today. I recorded about 5 hours ago. I'm going to blur out the link to this. Sorry for that, because if I give this to you, it's not going to work for me. So if you want to help you to develop this for yourself, book a call. We will set up some kind of coaching offer and I will help you do it. But I cannot show this for you. But as you can see, this one is a 5-minute and 30-second long Loom. And the guy watched it 100%. The completion rate is 100%. And of course, I got a very good message from him. It should be here somewhere. Now, this is just the first part. And as you can see, there is the 2 lead stages right here. If someone, we send the opener, someone engaged, we have them in the engaged stage. If someone messaged back, and we send a Loom, they are in the Loom stage. But let's move forward. What happens here? If we send a Loom, we need to make a decision based on how they respond. If they tell us like, oh my God, this is so good, I really love what you're doing, we can book a call immediately and we continue the structure from here. We will talk about that in a second. If they respond like, this is cool, I like what you're talking about, they're cold/warm, they're not really sold, we go into a different appointment setting flow. So let's firstly discuss this, and after that we are going to go into the real system, how we book them on a call. So the very first thing we do is we have these 3 questions that we go through, which will lead to booking a call. The very first question is simply asking whether they need the help, but not directly asking that, which is, would you say that X, we here say like content strategy or sales or this, that, other, is still something you're figuring out, or you got that fully dialed in? Then they respond like, yeah, I'm trying to figure out, blah, 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 blah. Now here again, we need to make a decision based on how well they respond. If they go really in depth and we get really good data about this, we usually try to clarify. If we don't get any data, we usually go and try to dig deeper. So what I mean, if someone responds like, oh my God, Robert, I'm really suffering with content strategies, something's not working, blah, 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 I go and clarify. Okay, when you talk about content strategy, is the problem that you don't get qualified followers, or is the problem that you don't know how to create a good video? And they respond. Then we go to the next step. But if they respond like, yeah, Robert, I would say I'm still trying to figure this out, they haven't given me any information, then I have to go ask deeper. And like, okay, and what's the #1 challenge that you're facing regarding that thing? And then they respond. And then all the time I ask this, do you need any help with that? And if they respond yes, we can sell them on that. If no, then that's all, bro. Like, we can forget that lead. And that's when we go to the part where we actually start booking the call. Now, this is a stage which I don't have any name for. It's either they got from me an open-ended question or this or that question, bottleneck or challenge question. The goal here is to go deeper with the client, with the potential client. And that's really all. That's what I call this stage. But this will be really important when we go about how do we actually track this and how do we actually make sure no lead gets lost in this system. So let's go and talk about the call, because right here, this is the point where you can actually pitch a call. Either they mention that they need help or they directly told you that they want to book a call with you. Then we ask this question. Would it be so wild to lock in a quick 30 minutes so we can chat about this? And right here they respond yes, or oh, that would be a good idea. And then we ask 2 follow-up questions, and after that we send a Calendly. Sorry, 1 follow-up question. The follow-up question is immediately giving them the details of what day it should be, which is like, if today is February 5th, I would say, okay, does February 6th work for you? We ask this very simple question. And usually they say, it work for me. And then I go and ask, perfect, I will send over my Calendly so we can forget going back and forth for a week. And Calendly link, I had issues with Calendly lately, so I will be around in a case it didn't work. Now, why is this important? This is really important, guys. I have to chat about this because you can mess this up. What you can do is if someone responds like, oh my God, this is really good, or they say like, okay, do you need help with that? Yes, I need. You could immediately send your Calendly, but you won't get any booked calls. Why is that? Because taking an action of booking a call is a big step, and you don't want to do that. What you want to do instead is get small yes answers, small actions from the prospect saying like, hey, actually, I would want to, talk to you about this, and then get them to book a call. So that's the first question, is would it be so wild to lock in a quick 30 minutes? Then would X day work for you? Then we say, perfect, I will send over my Calendly. And the reason I send over my Calendly is because I don't want to manually book them in. So what I'm going to do is say, I will send over my Calendly, but I reason why I send over my Calendly, so they actually take the action. And after I sent over my Calendly, I say this. The reason I say this is because this creates the commitment bias. If I tell you that, hey, I had issues with Calendly, so I will be around in case it didn't work, that puts the pressure on you that, oh my God, I actually have to check. So I actually have to book a call. And this usually, or like 99% of the time, this system immediately books the call. Perfect. So now that you have a booked call, everything is okay. But there is a bit of a difference in the stages. There is a call pitch stage and there is a Calendly stage. Why do we have 2 different stages? Because if we have the call pitch stage, we need to get them to, be more sold on us. But when we Calendly them, we need to get them to actually open the Calendly. And this means we need to follow up with them differently. But in a second, let's talk about the booked call. This is really important. You book a call. Either they respond like booked, either they tell you anything. What you need to do is this. I have suffered this, that I booked 13 calls and half of them didn't even show up. Why is that? Because when you're booking a call from IG, what happens is that you open a widget. And when you open a widget, what happens is that when you book a call, you won't be redirected immediately to our post book a call page. Now, why is this a huge problem? Because the post book a call page is what really gets the sale, because it puts the confirmation bias on our prospect, it handles objections, and also it will get them to watch a case study. So we have so many things happening, but if they don't do this after they book the call, they're just not going to appear and they're not going to close. That's why we need to make sure that they open the post book a call page. And all of this I had to implement because on IG, when you press Calendly, it opens as a widget. On a widget, you can immediately press X after you book the call. But this is why we have this. Even if they tell you that, hey, you booked, or you can see that they booked, this is what you say. Cool, you're booked. You're not hyped. There is something you must know before our call though. You send the link. It will give you context, but also, if I'm not mistaken, it solves the auto cancel. What you do here, you give them why they need to check out this link, which will redirect you to your confirmation page, like this one, post-book a call page. But also, you will say this, that it will give you context, but also, if I'm not mistaken, it solves the auto cancel. You give them a reason why they need to check it out, and that's the auto cancel. This is just giving them a reason. And amazing, you have them booked in, they will appear. This system, like the post-book a call system, gives me 85% show rate on my sales calls. But this is when I need to talk about something else, which is after they booked a call, like here, as you can see, you need to make a decision whether the deal is closed and the lead is done, it's closed, or the deal is not closed and we put them into a continuous cycle. And we will talk about that in a second. But this is the overall appointment setting stage. This is how we get from a lead to a booked call. It's very simple, it's very effective. Now, I want to talk about follow-ups and these stages because that's really crucial. Because in order for this system to actually work, you need to follow up a bunch. I'm not kidding. Every single day, I am following up. Or my AI agents are following up. I'm not following up personally. That's why we have a bunch of stages. And now I will walk you through how to actually track all of this. This is my tracker. It has some simple stuff and it saves years of your life. So we have a name, right? What's the name of this person? What's their IG link? Which account did you message them? As you can see, I have 6 different accounts. Then what is their appointment stage? What was the first message? What was the last message? And what is the follow-up stage? But let me actually show you how it works. When you DM someone and they respond, as you can see, you place them at the end as like engaged. Now here, after they engage, with colors, you tag them if you have to do something for them. So for example, these 2 people, I have to record a Loom for them. That's why they are tagged like this. And that's why they don't have any appointment stage at the moment. They only have the status of engaged. Let's say you actually record a Loom for them. This is how it looks like. My call, link, account, Loom. And when the last message was sent, when I sent the message. Why this is important is because if they respond, I update this last message, but if they don't respond, it will immediately show me how do I need to follow up this with person. My call, I sent a message on February 4th, but if I would have sent a message on February 3rd, I would need to follow up today with him with this message. But yesterday I talked to him, I don't need to follow up. And if he responds to me today, I go and I press 5th because we talked today. This column just describes when you talked last. And this is the killer. I don't have to think about who I need to follow up. I have every detail. There's the person. This is the follow-up, which I need to send. This is what I do. Hey, Jacob, I need to follow up. I open Jacob from my right account. I open messages. I copy this, like copy and paste. I can press message and I can press Loom works and press send. It's very simple, immediate. Now, the next thing is that if I followed up with this person, I just press follow-up stage, next one. And the next follow-up message changes. I would simply update this to this and bang, follow-up stage changed. Everything changed. This is fucking amazing, guys. You cannot tell me this is not amazing. How it works is we have these many stages, as you guys have seen. And for each stage, we have different follow-up messages. All the follow-up messages are here. And how it works is based on what kind of appointment stage they are in, when was the last message, and when did we follow up with them, we have different messages. So let's say Michael, we followed up, we talked to him last on February 3rd. We sent him a Loom. Now let's say if I would have sent him the Calendly, then it doesn't change. If I would have sent them this or that question, I would need to follow up right now with this. And this is why this is an amazing system. You don't have to deal with following up. What message should you send? It's all automatic. Everything is simple, done for you. And that's why I love this system. Now, there is one thing. This last part, which I mentioned to you, which is this continuous cycle, which is different. And this continuous cycle, the similar appointment stage, but what happens here is every 3rd week, you send them a message which would get them to open some kind of free asset. So as you can see, I will show you all the different free, messages here. And if you read any of them, you will quickly understand that these messages are, I will send you the message and I want you to reply with yes or something like that, and I will send something over for you. And that's why I love this system, because it's based on an app script. It automatically does that. So what happens is, let's say a lead like Jay, for example here, reached the 9th follow-up. This is Jay. No, Jay reached the 9th follow-up. Then it means I don't have to follow up with that person anymore. Like, oh my God, we sent 8 messages, but this lead is actually good for me. So what I do in this scenario, I have an app script that every single day runs because it has a daily trigger. And what happens is if there is a person who is in the follow-up stage 9 and they are not canceled, it will automatically update them into the continuous cycle and it will place them back to 0. And why this is good is because from there, every third week, I will send them a message talking about do they need some kind of free asset. And this end of the system, whether they didn't show, whether they had objections, whether we have a follow-up call for 189 days, I'm still going to be in contact with this person because every third week I ask them whether they need a free asset to solve their own problems. And this system, guys, fucking rocks. I'm not kidding. And on the back end of it, we track every metric. We know exactly what's happening. And I have for this system 2 different lead generation systems which allow me to get leads completely for free. I haven't paid one single dime for sending out 200, 1,200, 1,100, meaning 2,500 messages for 2,500 leads. I haven't paid a dime. Now, the other amazing thing is I have all of this automated by my AI agent. So right now you can't see because I have done all the tasks that they are required in a single day, but all of this are attached to AI agents and they do everything for me. All I need to do is every single day record some looms, send them out, and everything else is handled by my AI agents. So if you need this, if you want to make good money with IG appointment setting, if you want to get good clients, right now book a call with me. I will show you how we can implement this and I will coach you through this. Otherwise, thank you so much for actually taking the time to watch this video and I will see you in the next one.